Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Double tap the screen or three dots to your right, depending on if you're on your computer or on your cell phone. So, I haven't done a VWTF weekly in a while. And so I wanted to talk about all of the drama that's going on right now when it comes to Rock Nation, Nicki Minaj. Ooh, we got a lot to talk about. But first things first. First things first. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Nene Leaks. I found out that her son Brent, he literally had a heart attack, apparently, and a stroke at age 22. Like, this apparently happened almost right after her husband passed. Brent is the youngest one, the one that we saw on the first season who had his birthday and he got his first like $1,000 investment check. That's Brent. Well, apparently he had a heart attack and a stroke and he had to get a heart transplant. I did not know that. He had to get a heart transplant and he's still in the hospital because I guess the heart that he got is like fighting against his body. Like, it just sounds completely crazy. Prayers going out to Brent to be so young and literally have a heart attack and a stroke, and you had to get a heart transplant. That is like insane to me. So, before we get into all the shenanigans, prayers to Nene, Brent. Like, that has to be tough, especially after losing her husband. And then that happens and he's still fighting. So I am hoping that he has a speedy recovery or full recovery, not necessarily speedy, but a full recovery. And Brent can get back to being healthy and living his life. But with that being said, yes, I just said that. I said that. I said his body was rejecting the heart transplant. So yeah, but prayers to him and the family. But now that I've said that, woosah, let's get into the drama. So, child, Nicki Minaj. Um, Interesting. Wow, like, where do I begin? Now, Nicki Minaj is coming hard body with Jay-Z and Rock Nation. When I tell you Jay-Z and the Rock Nation crew has been getting a lot of drama, literally at the freaking same, like, I haven't seen anything like this when it comes to Jay-Z. Jay-Z is like a domino effect at this point. Okay? Like a domino effect. Like, once Tony Busby came for him, it's like bloop, dominoes is falling, right? Now, mind you, him and his wife for a good minute was seen as untouchable. And even if there was stuff about them, all of a sudden it would just be swept under the rug. All right. Now, again, I'm gonna say this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. All right, I'm gonna say that. Double tap the screen, hit the like button. Nicki has had enough. Now, interesting enough, I thought she was still bitter about the Super Bowl situation. Because, of course, for those who may not know, New Orleans, the last Super Bowl, they fought, and I guess allegedly it was promised to them that Cash Money Lil Wayne was actually going to do the Super Bowl, one, because of them being from New Orleans or whatever the case may be, but it ended up going to, of course, Kendrick Lamar. And if you guys remember, Nicki Minaj and, everybody, Lil Wayne, I think, had an issue with it too. But Nicki Minaj was definitely vocal about it, saying that it was trifling, it was wrong, or whatever the case may be. So I thought, okay, she's still ticked off about that. But no. No. See, from my understanding, looking at some of the barbs, apparently this stuff has been going down for quite some time. Okay. she's also upset allegedly over her title deal. Now, y'all remember title, right? Title was supposed to be this new big thing, and Jay-Z got all of these artists together, making it seem like they was gonna get a certain percentage off of title, and they all was gonna make money together, right? They was all gonna make money together. Well, they sold title. Well, he sold title allegedly. And allegedly, Nicki Minaj didn't get the money that she feels that legally she was supposed to get. So apparently, this is where a lot of this stuff comes from. Now, some people are saying it's the Meg Thee Stallion situation, the Meg Thee Stallion, and how Jay-Z and Beyonce pretty much took Meg Thee Stallion's side or whatever in the whole situation. I don't know if it's that. Y'all let me know if y'all feel like that could be the case. That is the Meg Thee Stallion situation. She may have felt slighted because she may have thought that Jay-Z and Beyonce were her friends. I don't know how many times we need to say this, but it's very obvious, in my opinion, when it comes to him, when it comes to the Diddy's of the world, they don't do friends. Now, they may make it seem like they're your friend so it can be a transactional situation, but they don't do friends. So, but maybe she thought, because she did the song, I'm feeling myself with Beyonce or whatever, that they was cool people. So she may have felt a little slighted, but baby, she trying to make it seem like it's because of the money. So let me read this. So according to Complex, Minaj beef with Jay-Z stems from Tidal, a global music streaming service that he co-founded in 2015. Okay, so at the time of the launch, Billboard reported that artist partners such as Minaj were gifted 3% in equity in exchange for creating content and driving value for the subscription service. In 2021, however, Jay-Z sold the majority ownership of Tidal to Jack Dorsey Square Company for $302 million. $302 million. Now, according to Minaj, she didn't receive a fair amount of the money from the deal. Now, this is what it says in quotes that she said. She said that I received a call advising Tidal was sold and they made no money on the deal. So all they could offer me was $1 million. And she claimed that via X September 2024. She later alleged that she was scammed and declined the deal. All right. So she said this on X. So she is apparently upset about her title money, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all. But let's talk about this breakdown in the situation. Now, according to Nicki Minaj, Jay-Z owes her millions of dollars in her equity and title. Okay. Minaj said if she received any financial compensation, she would pay it forward to help fans with their education goals. So she said, I'm going to use some of the money Jay-Z owes me to send some of my barbs to college, pay for their school fees and student loans via my hashtag student of the game charity. All right. Now, that's what she's saying. Now, I don't know how much y'all actually believe that or not. I don't know how much y'all believe as far as that situation. What I do find interesting, though, is that a lot of other artists aren't saying anything, but you know who is saying something, but he's saying everything but that? Kanye West. We know Kanye has had his beef with Jay-Z for some time, but I don't remember Kanye saying anything about how he got screwed over on his title deal. And maybe primarily because when he got that Adidas deal, he was swimming in money so much he didn't care about the title deal. But I'm curious to know if Kanye would actually make a comment about how he felt like he didn't get his just due on that title deal. Because there was a lot of them up there who was making like a big old public announcement. They was all, remember, standing in line on stage, and literally he would like walk up, somebody, an artist will walk up and sign their name to make it seem like they in it for title. Remember all of that, all of the dramatics of it, trying to make it seem like they was all in for title, and finally artists can actually own something. Remember all of that nonsense? Well, Nicki Minaj saying, hell no, I didn't get my equity. Okay. So apparently that's where a lot of this stuff started. Then you had the beef from the Super Bowl halftime show. All right. Now we all know that Lil Wayne signed, if I'm not mistaken, not only Nicki Minaj, but also Drake. Now I find this interesting that they're all in one circle and all of them got beef right now with that whole crew that's on that side. Allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So it's quite interesting. And baby, this is getting good. Look, like when you got Nicki Minaj who said, I ain't afraid of nothing. I'm about to just put it out there. Baby, I'm like, ooh, like, is this really like, is Nicki Minaj being a vessel? Like to me, because I feel like Cat Williams was a vessel for God's message. Like low key. Like I feel like anybody, God can make anyone a vessel, can make anyone a vessel. I low key feel God used Cat Williams as his vessel to get the message out there that things are about to get exposed. You know what I'm saying? Like literally. I felt like he did that with Cat Williams. I am wondering if Nicki is a vessel right now exposing some stuff too. Cause baby, she act like she been in church. Cause honey, she said some things where I was just like, oh, Nicki, like, are you born again? Like, what's going on here? Oh, thank you, Emma. I appreciate that. That's so sweet of you. Hey, young, young and is if you, I don't know what that means. Expose them all. Hey, I'm gonna keep it real. Exactly. So with that being said, Nicki Minaj, and she hasn't even taken this stuff down. So that's when you know, honey, she like screw all of that. Now, one thing she did get wrong though, she was talking about how a judge has ordered Jay-Z to do the DNA test for Ramir. Y'all know who Ramir is, right? Well, let me remind you. Let me just go up here and share my screen real quick. Excuse me, let me share the screen so we can get into it. So here we are. Okay, y'all see it? And mind you, you know 50 Cent petty behind. You know he sat up there and posted this. And so she took it, all right? So with that, you know, Emma, you're like literally the another person who said that. They literally said I should do, what is it, the ASMR, or what's this, the AMSR stuff? They said I should do that too. I don't know. Maybe I need to do one of them channels and I can literally be like doing my thing. I don't know. Y'all, you may be trying to tell me something, Emma. But so check this out. Danielle, go ahead and handle all of that stuff, boo. Especially because, you know, if they start acting crazy, some people in here trolling possibly. So it says Jay-Z is trending because the judge has granted Ramir a request to move forward with his case, and the judge has demanded Jay-Z to respond to Ramir paternity lawsuit by July 18th. From my understanding, that is not true. I have been looking for the information. Whatever the case may be, I have not been able to find it. I don't know if it's true or not, but from my sources, I've been doing the research and I am seeing that that is actually not the case. But let's just say if it is the case, okay? Let's just say if a judge actually ordered Jay-Z to do it, I still wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it. Like, you would literally need to have cameras. You would need to have everybody in there making sure that that needle actually went into his vein and make sure that it is his freaking red rum coming out in that needle and make sure that the DNA test is legit. I wouldn't trust a DNA test, especially if it's on Jay-Z terms. I'm just saying. And besides, I'm sorry, and I understand that some people can look alike, but good grief, Ramir looked just like Diddy. He got his mama's complexion, but I mean, Diddy. He looked just like Jay-Z. He got his mama complexion, but he looked like Jay. So is it just happenstance that he looks like him? Come on, y'all. But with that being said, Nicki Minaj quoted, oh, this is why he was trending the other day. I don't know. I hope all is well. To God be the glory, honey. She said, to God be the glory. Like, she's like, I am so happy that God is exposing all of this. All of it, right? So with that, I was like, okay, but here's the thing. This ain't the worst thing that she said. This is just one of them. And she hasn't taken it down. That's when you know she like, I'm standing 10 toes down on what I said. And what? Baby, she literally, so Academics TV, the judge has denied Rock Nation and Megan Thee Stallion motion to dismiss a lawsuit where her cameraman, I don't know, but they say her gay cameraman claims the twerker, not the twerker forced him to watch her have a freak off car freaky tales with a woman inside a moving car while on tour. Now, with that, I'm not even looking at this part. I'm looking at what Nicki said. She said, what was the name of that law again? Karma's law. Touch not my anointed law. Vengeance is the Lord's law. We give God the glory and he's only just begun. Have a blessed day if you can. LOL, the blogs posting lies. Thank you. More money for me. We work in trust. Baby. Now, you know people ain't playing when they sit up there and they say, vengeance is mine, say the Lord. Because that's pretty much what she was saying. Vengeance is mine, say the Lord. In other words, I'm letting the Lord handle you in this situation because the Lord is going to end up revealing all of your evil ways and your evil doings. So let me ask y'all this while I continue. I'm going to do a poll and I need for y'all to answer the poll. Do you believe Nicki? Do you believe Nicki? Yes. No, I'm curious. I am curious. And barbs are welcome, just like the beehive is welcome, just as long as you're respectful. Do you believe, child? Let me get my spelling right. How about that? Before I sit up there and people be like, you done spelled it wrong, child. Look, charge it to my freaking mind, not my heart, okay? So yeah, do you believe Nicki? Let me do the poll, honey. Let me do the poll. So with that, she said, okay, y'all want to play? They have that same tooth, not the same tooth, T-Dot, but they do. They look so much alike. You can't. This is hard to shake to say that that is not his father. Like that, like it, but again, we have to say allege because we don't know for sure. But dang. Dang, 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 dang. But anywho, with that being said, she continued, baby. She continued. Now, then she posted this. Okay. So they were talking about Desiree Perez daughter. Now, I talked about this with the Chris Club behind the scenes, but let me talk to it with y'all. So I don't know if you heard, but Desiree Perez, who is the CEO of Rock Nation, she is also an alleged former informant that got pardoned by Trump, allegedly. Yeah, her daughter has sued her and is coming for her because apparently she has allegedly been harassing and doing some crazy things that she's trying to pretty much get her daughter away from her husband that she apparently has had no issue calling him the N-word with the hard ER. The hard ER. Okay? Which I find interesting that she is actually the CEO of Rock Nation, and this is supposed to be Jay-Z's company. And you can't convince me that he hasn't heard, at least by now, that she has no problem calling this guy allegedly the N-word with the ERs. Okay. Which really makes me wonder, in my personal opinion, how much does Jay-Z really run and own when it comes to Rock Nation? Or he doesn't have a problem with how she looks at black people as long as she makes money. I don't know. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I don't necessarily know really how Jay-Z feels about black people. Now, again, you guys could easily say, well, of course he has a certain feeling about black people. Like, he's black. Y'all not going to pretend like there aren't some black people out there who don't even like their own people. Like, we're not going to pretend that that is not possible. And just because somebody throws up a black fist doesn't mean that they're really for the people. Because at one point, throwing up the black fist and talking about, you know what I'm saying, like Black Lives Matter was very profitable. A lot of people made a lot of money throwing up a black fist like they was really down for the community. That don't mean that they really was, though. So I find it interesting, though, that she isn't being removed from this position. Because, baby, if you running my company, if it's really my company, all of my company, you ain't gonna be able to say that N-E-R word and think you gonna be able to still run my stuff. So I say again, how much of Roc Nation does he really own? Is it just like how much he owned of the Brooklyn Nets? Oops. Did I say that? I did. Yeah, is it how much he owned of the Brooklyn Nets? Is it how much he apparently owned of Tidal? I don't even know how much of a percentage he owned of Tidal, because apparently he was not the only owner of Tidal. See, the problem is that we really don't know the inner workings of these so-called business deals and these so-called companies. So as far as I see it, maybe he can't get rid of her. Maybe he can't. Because if it's my company, you're out. You're out. So it makes you wonder, like back in the day at Arsenio Hall show, things that make you go, okay? So if you ask me, I think Nicki is almost baiting them to say something to her. Think about it. You're publicly putting this stuff out there. And usually when people do that, it's because they have even more ammunition behind the scenes. You feel what I'm saying? So what is the end game on this? Could it be that she's exposing stuff? Could it be that she's bitter? This is why I'm talking to y'all about this, and this is why I have the poll up, because I want y'all opinions on this. But I just find it interesting that she has had her foot on their necks. She has had their foot on their, like, she's not holding back. She done came hard than most guys in this industry. She's not playing around. I was just like, dang, Nicki. Like, but don't get me wrong. I appreciate the boldness, because I feel like people like to walk on eggshells, especially when it comes to celebrities and stuff like that. These people are not God. So, like, even in this situation, she said, wow, Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez is allegedly abusive. Her daughter, Demori, claims her mother held her against her will and was, DVing her. This is so sad, even though that's her mother, but this is so sad, not the actions of a concerned mother. And so, pretty much, it says at the bottom, Nicki Minaj calls out Roc Nation. Demori Hadley exposes Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez. And then Nicki says, oh no, what's going on at the Shade Room? Help. Now, she's sitting up. She's sitting up there trolling in that situation. She trolling in that situation. She like, what's going on? Help. Now, she's sitting up there like, I ain't scared. I ain't scared at all. But then she still continues to go. This is all one day ago. She says, so let me get this straight. Y'all so-called black savior. Yes, she did. Because people look at him like that, which is ridiculous. But she said, y'all so-called black savior, Jay-Z, has a Hispanic CEO who was pardoned by President Trump. Interesting. So does that mean Desiree isn't a Democrat? Black people, I thought y'all hate Trump supporters. Wait, did Jay-Z even campaign for Kamala? He's benefited so much from the party. When President Obama gave the speech about brothers, why didn't Jigga Man come out and strongly campaign for the Democratic Party at the same time? Could it be that y'all have all been hoodwinked? LOL. Woo-wee. That was so kind of President Trump, and that was so kind of President Obama to passionately go out and campaign. But what did Mr. Jigga Man do to help y'all win the election? He's above speaking out to help his party? Or was it not his party? Is it just about who can benefit him and Desiree at the time? Oh, black people, it looks like the Jigga Man and Desiree played y'all once again. LMFAO, the jig is up. Ooh, I like this Nicki. Ooh, Nicki, you may have a fan, girl. I like it. Oh, I like it. When the last time y'all done had someone this bold in the industry that can articulate themselves better than what Kanye is doing? But anywho, because Kanye done lost his mind away that he done did certain things. Ain't nobody gonna listen to him at this point. But Nicki, and she says the same CEO whose daughter says she's racist against her black husband. Baby. So let me continue. So we're not done with the whole timeline of the whole Nicki Minaj Jay-Z situation. Now, what I do find interesting that kind of rubs me the wrong way just a little bit is that the men in Nicki's life are not speaking up. Where is Lil Wayne and Drake in this situation? Now, they could be playing a mean game of chess in the background and something's about to come out and hit them or whatever the case may be. But I'm just a little, I don't know. I'm a little wondering, like, why does this woman, a black woman, got to be the one who got to sit up there and make all the noise and talk about the injustice? You know what I'm saying? If you know what I mean. But with that being said, she ain't even done because she even came at Beyonce. Now, the reality is one thing I am learning more and more that the Beehive to a certain extent is loyal to Jay-Z, but a lot of them don't really care for Jay-Z. They just be trying to protect Beyonce. But Nicki kind of came also with a Beyonce situation because she made a comment. She said, during their respective musical careers, Minaj and Jay-Z have been able to collaborate. Yes, we know that. But with that being said, she made a comment about how when Beyonce didn't win, I guess, the country music awards, or she didn't win anything at the country music awards, she kind of implied, watch somebody come out trying to say that this person is being treated unfairly or whatever the case may be. She was just pretty much kind of saying, yeah, you gonna try to make it seem like, oh yeah, here it is. She said, y'all know his next move is going to be to tell y'all a certain someone is being treated so unfairly so that y'all can go back into that trance. She said that trance. When I tell y'all, Nicki is saying a whole lot, not saying, she's saying a whole lot, but still being very subliminal in her messaging, which naturally she's a rapper. So yeah, but she pretty much is what trying to say that people are brainwashed when it comes to Jay-Z and Beyonce. That, to me, that's just very what it's coming off as. That y'all brainwash, y'all think they rooting for other people, y'all think they're this type of couple, y'all think they're this, y'all think they're that, but that is really not the case. And the fact that she said he gonna say that she was treated unfairly and then y'all gonna go back in y'all trance, she pretty much saying people got a sheep mentality. That they have a sheep mentality. Now, interesting enough, the Barbs went after Tina Knowles. Yes, they did. They went after Tina Knowles. And Tina Knowles apparently made some type of message saying that people, you know what I'm saying, done lost their minds or whatever the case may be. She said something of that effect. But the Barbs, I guess, thought that she was coming for Nicki because this happened after the whole Nicki situation. So, baby, like the Barbs went in. So that's why I said, is this going to be a Beehive versus Barb situation? And who the heck do y'all think gonna win? Because let me tell you something. The loyalty is off the charts when it comes to both sides. So apparently they had a field day when it came to Tina Knowles. But interesting enough, let me show y'all something else. Because what I found interesting, and somebody posted this right before I came on, and I said, what in the heck is going on here? Let me see here if I can find it. Let me see. Make sure you guys double tap the screen. Oh, and somebody even said, look, somebody said, God protect Onika. People know. And it's so sad that people feel like they have to be scared for you when you are speaking what you feel is the truth. It's a sad situation where people feel like you can't even tell the truth or you can't talk about injustice without people feeling like you need to be fearful of your life. It's a sad situation. It's a sad situation, but this is the type of wicked world that we're currently living in. But let's talk real quick, because y'all know I like to go down a rabbit hole, and y'all know I'm very spiritual, and I told y'all there's a lot of evil, wicked intentions that's been going on lately. But I find it interesting that Nicki posted this stuff literally like a day or two ago, right? Well, lo and behold, a certain sister a certain sister ended up posting something that I thought was quite interesting. And the sister I'm talking about, crew, is Solange Knowles. Okay? Solange Knowles, okay? These Solange Knowles, they said she posted an altar. And what do I mean by an altar? I'm a Christian woman, but everyone's not Christian. Even those who say they Christian, sometimes they dibble dabble in other things. Well, I don't know if you guys heard of this gentleman. Man, what is his name? He's a pastor. I feel like his name is Ricardo Lopez, if I'm not mistaken. Or Richard Lopez. If some of you guys know who I'm talking about, by all means, please put it in the chat. But he actually, gosh, what is he said he used to be into witchcraft. He said he used to actually like sell substances. He said he was definitely in a dark, demented place. And he said at one point he dabbled in witchcraft for a very long time. And one day he actually went into one of those stores and he ended up seeing Solange Knowles allegedly. Okay. And literally, he was like, Solange Knowles, and somebody told him who's a worker at the store, said she be in here all the time, getting stuff done for her and her family. Now, as soon as I find this guy, hopefully I can find, but he's a pastor. If you guys again put in like say pastor, maybe so I can put Pastor Solange Knowles and he'll come up, because he actually talked about it. He said it was a part of his testimony, and he has no problem talking about it. He's very honest about his testimony. He's definitely given his life fully to God now. But yeah, his name is, oh gosh, he's here right here, but I don't see, where's his freaking name at? Yeah, if you look him up, put in Pastor Solange Knowles and you'll see his testimony. It's here and he talks about it. But anywho, with that being said, please asterisk out. Oh, yes, please asterisk out the words, you guys. I know some of you guys are just here and y'all really want to have like a healthy dialogue. But again, I can get flagged with certain words. So make sure you asterisk out those words. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Mwah. So, interesting enough, we saw that Nicki Minaj a day or two ago posted that. Now, we have Solange not even 24 hours ago apparently posting her altar for, apparently they're saying allegedly witchcraft. Okay, now that's what they are saying, that they're saying it's allegedly witchcraft. Now I'm gonna show y'all and y'all let me know what y'all think. Okay, y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation. But she posted this, and a lot of people are trying to say that it could mean something when it comes to Nicki, because what are the odds of her posting this? And other bloggers are now posting about this. But let me show you, honey. Let me show you. So you see this right here? You see this blue and all of that? That's down there with the smoke and all of that stuff. They saying that's an altar. Let me go back. They're saying that's allegedly an altar. Y'all see that again. Make sure y'all see what I'm seeing. Okay. Now, apparently that is the case. Now, I don't know. I do not know. Y'all will definitely have to let me know if that is actually what is considered an altar. But apparently she posted that. And so did y'all see it? Because it's delayed on this side. Did y'all see what I just showed y'all in her stories? Let me know if y'all saw it. Let me know if you guys did see it. Put a thumbs up if you did see what I just showed you in the stories with the blue and all of that stuff. Definitely so definitely an altar. Now, apparently, based on what I have seen, they are apparently a part of the IFA, and apparently that is supposed to be who she represents, I guess, or who she praises is somebody Yimaya or something like that. Apparently that is what that is, allegedly. I don't know for sure, but I just find that interesting that not even 24 hours ago she just randomly has this in her story. Do y'all think that's a coincidence? I don't know, but I find it interesting. I really, really do. What do y'all think about that? But again, it could be happenstance. It really could. It could, but or maybe she trying to give out a warning. I don't know. I do not know. But what I do know is that I'm loving this Nicki. I'm really loving this Nicki because she like I'm standing 10 toes down and I ain't afraid of nobody. Oh, child, that's Buddhism. Child, that's something totally different. Now, apparently, but they said that's Ifa. Now, for those who understand what that is or whatever, I'm sure you guys would know exactly. Danielle saying it's definitely an altar, but I find it interesting that she posted that right after the whole Nicki rant. Find that interesting. But let me see what you guys are saying in these polls on who. Wow. So we have almost 50-50. 54% of you guys are saying yes, you believe Nicki, and 46% of you guys are saying no. That's interesting. So for those who are saying no, who are still in the chat, do you feel like she's not telling the truth? Because do you guys feel like it's coming from a place of her being bitter? Because I actually did some research and somebody was saying that Rock Nation allegedly they were coming for her back in 2018. Like they apparently was coming for her a long time ago and she kind of stayed quiet. Now, I don't know how true that is, but what we do know is, and is what's been very obvious, even with these Diddy trials and everything else, there are silent bullies. Meaning that people have a passive aggressive way to intimidate you, to bully you, and they want you to suffer in silence. They want you to suffer in silence. So, do I put it past people with power, money, power, and respect to try to bully someone into submission and to try to, maybe go after Nicki because they felt like Nicki was no longer relevant? Because at one point, everybody dissed Nicki allegedly, not her Barbs though, but everybody dissed Nicki for Cardi. And then now Cardi and Megan Thee Stallion teamed up. And then, they were trying to make it seem like Meg is like for this generation. And they just kind of apparently disregarded Nicki. So do you guys feel like she's bitter because of how that was handled? But does she have every right to possibly be bitter too? Because if she thought these people were her friends, at the end of the day, I could see how she could feel betrayed. Everything Nicki saying put out through her music or tweets, she been telling the truth, and it always comes out afterwards that Nicki was telling the truth. Okay. All right. All right now. I feel like Nicki is telling her truth. That's not to say it isn't the actual truth. Okay. Okay. And you say, I want to see Nicki. Okay. Joe, come on now. She was never not relevant. The hate train that you speak of that happened through 2018, yes, was orchestrated. Okay. Thank you, Blessed Up. Okay, because I was doing my research and someone said that they said that the hate train was apparently allegedly created by that whole machine over there. And she knew that, but she still kind of kept it cute and mute. Because it was definitely a situation where I guess she didn't want to necessarily say anything, but I guess between that, not getting her money she felt she should have got from Tidal, and then of course the Super Bowl situation, at a certain point things start boiling over, and the pot start overflowing, and she like, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm about to blow my top, literally. You know what I mean? I think she's telling the truth. I think there's something really really wrong with J.O.Z. and Beyonce. That she's saying, okay, Nicki can't. Oh Lord, have mercy. Let's not talk about that. let's not even talk about that, please. Let's focus on the other stuff, not no Players Club stuff. All right. So with that being said, I feel like I can't. One thing about it though, I love when people are just bold, especially when people do have a lot to lose. Now, you have people who feel like that she can't be saying anything because of course her brother's situation, and then we know her husband's situation. So people feel like because of those two situations, they feel like Nicki shouldn't say anything. I don't know if that is necessarily fair. And I say that because at the end of the day, should she remain silent about being mistreated, about money and business and things like that, even with those two situations? Like, I feel like, so because of those two situations, she should never speak up on things that aren't right. And I guess to a certain extent, I can understand people saying, well, if you feel like, her husband ain't right and her brother ain't right, then right is right, wrong is wrong. She should call their stuff out too, or whatever. I understand that, but at the same time, on a business level, I don't see why she still can't put stuff out there. If she feels that she's been mistreated and disrespected on a level of business, and how they constantly have messed with her and her whole crew of people like Lil Wayne and Drake allegedly, I can see why. Because we clearly know Jay-Z took Kendrick's side, because I didn't even know that Jay-Z and Drake allegedly had a beef for a while. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that there was something there. And that's why a lot of people feel like, in general, Jay-Z allegedly took Kendrick Lamar's side because he already had a vendetta when it came to Drake in the first place. He said, no way, don't let anyone bully you. Yeah, Nicki just didn't start stuff with anybody unless they start with her. She's a real one. Yeah, she probably one of those people where if you start with me, I'm gonna finish it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. That's probably what it is. So yeah, double tap the screen, three dots to your right. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I understand what people are trying to say when it comes to her brother and her husband. But at the same time, that means that she can't sit up there and talk about how she has been mistreated as far as business is concerned. That's when she wants to rant. You know what's so interesting about that? I would say that's a lot of people. That's just not Nicki. I would say that's a lot of people. One would say that when it was convenient for Jay-Z to all of a sudden say we need to stop kneeling when it was time for him to make a deal with the NFL. That seemed like to me when it was convenient, that's when he wanted to step up. So I feel like that's everybody, especially these celebrities. When it's convenient, that's when they want to rant. However, I don't think this is a convenient situation. This could make or break a lot of stuff for Nicki in the future. And I think at this point, she don't care. She fed up. Sometimes you just got to speak up, let everyone know what's up. Yeah, it's possible. That's what I'm saying. But again, some people could feel like this is all her ranting and, raving about the situation because she feels like she's no longer number one. What about Nicki? It doesn't matter. Again, we can't pick and choose when it comes to celebrities too. If all of these celebrities that everybody loves to so-called praise, they all want to speak up when they feel like it's convenient for them, especially if they feel like they can get a check, or especially when they feel like they need to let someone know that they ain't no punk or it's about business. They do. They all do it. And I wouldn't even say they all do it in the entertainment industry. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say all. I think that's just people in general. We have a lot of passive aggressive, cowardly people who literally, like, social media has been a blessing and a curse. You know what I'm saying? Think about how other female rappers winning Grammys that never sold as many albums as her during her quote unquote irrelevancy. What you think she mean when she say send your best fighters? Yeah, and that's another thing too. But again, I mean, for me personally, I haven't respected the Grammys in almost 20 plus years or more. The Grammys to me is like giving out Tic Tacs at this point. Anybody can get one, especially on the political game. Anybody can get one. That's why I call it the scammies. So, I mean, but again, at the end of the day, why is it that certain people can get Grammys and certain people can't? So I totally feel her on that situation because if I'm not mistaken, isn't Nicki the highest selling female rapper? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's the highest selling female rapper. Yeah, but here's the problem with that. If there's no friends in business, then don't pretend that you're somebody's friend. You can still be cordial and strictly be about business. But at the end of the day, when you try to make it seem like you're friends and you're trying to bond with that person just to really just do that to manipulate the situation, that's the issue. People do business all the time and they're not friends, but don't act like you're friends. Like, I feel like people, for whatever reason, when it comes to especially the entertainment industry, but even just other industries too, they have this tendency to want to chew you up and spit you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally. So chew you up and spit you out, like, instead of you just doing solid business, but you're not friends, and keep it pushing and keep it moving. I don't know. Somebody will have to look that up. Now, he's saying that Cardi surpassed her. I don't know if Cardi surpassed her as far as sales are concerned. Y'all will definitely have to let me know. Again, I have not been a big fan of either one of them. I've never bought a Cardi album. I've never bought a Nicki Minaj album. But I feel like I heard today while I was doing my research, or I saw today, that she's still the highest selling female rapper out there. Okay, so she still is. So yeah, so maybe that is the case. But yeah, but honey, she said I'm standing 10 toes down because some people, especially a lot of so-called men, they will rant and post stuff, and then all of a sudden they delete it as if deleting it is really going to do something. Because of course, once you delete something, it's still on the internet. Someone that screenshotted by then. But Nicki, like, yeah, I posted it and I'm gonna keep it up. Now what? Now what? You know what I'm saying? So she's like, I'm standing 10 toes down. This is over 24 hours ago and she still got it up. So I gotta respect her on that, because I would say she got a lot to lose, but at this point she's speaking her piece. But at the same time, I don't know, you guys. Like I said, I haven't followed this stuff a lot, but something is giving me vibes that she just has had enough. You know what I'm saying? She has just had enough. To ever do it versus sales is totally different. Now, Little Kim, you know what I'm saying? I grew up on Little Kim. So Little Kim all day, she is the one who truly, well, Salt and Pepper a little bit too, but Salt and Pepper, when they first came out, was dressing kind of like dudes in the 80s. But to me, Little Kim took it to that level of the feminine vibes, or whatever the case may be. Salt and Pepper did it too, but Little Kim took it to the next level. But with that being said, the fact that she's saying this, and if they have really been messing with her since 2018, y'all don't think at this point enough would be enough? And Nicki, isn't Nicki a Sagittarius? I'm surprised she waited this long. They some hotheads. I mean, let's look at the ones who are Sagittarius, shall we? Let's look at her. Nicki Minaj is a Sagittarius. Monique is a Sagittarius. When they ready to go, they go. And they stay on it until the wheels fall off. And even when the wheels fall off, they still gonna go. So to me, if she is just now really reaching that point, then maybe, it's like enough is enough. Maybe she didn't say anything for a while because she knew what she was up against. But now she like, I don't care what I'm up against because I got God on my side. Now, I hope she being serious when she putting God in it, because I don't like when people be playing with God like that. You know what I'm saying? When they ain't picked up not one Bible in a very long time, ain't prayed in a very long time, or they only pray when they want something. They ain't praying, thanking God just for giving them life. You know what I'm saying? But I'm hoping she's serious. But she said a couple of things about, you know what I'm saying, God multiple times when it came to these posts. So all I'm saying is that maybe, just maybe, for all we know, she could be a born again Christian. She done found the light, and she said, just like Braxton when it came to Tyler Perry, enough is enough, and I'm about to expose the truth, and I don't care what the hell anyone has to say. Because she truly went there with saying, you know what I'm saying, what's that law again? Karma's law. Touch not my anointed law. Vengeance is the Lord's law. We give God the glory. Have a blessed day if you can. Baby, to God be the glory. I don't know, y'all. Y'all think Nicki Minaj done rededicated herself to Christ? Y'all think that's the case? Look at the pure album sales, not the paid Grammys and paid media posts telling you, Cardi, that girl. Blessed up. Blessed up. Look, your name saying it itself. You're blessed, honey. You're blessed. Nikki is my queen sis. I'ma stand beside her regardless, but she can be exhausting. You can be exhausting, sir. We all can be exhausting. But let's be clear. When did she ever come this hard with a whole freaking Rock Nation and Jay-Z? She's never done this. That's why I was like, is this about the Super Bowl situation? I was like, it can't be about the Super Bowl situation, but I could see why she could be mad if her money and her bags have been stopped. That could really be the root of it. And then when you think about the Super Bowl, she may have said, you know what? He done messed with my money allegedly. Because you in it, sir. You're in it. Literally, she's like, okay, he done mess with my money allegedly with title. He done mess with my money on this or with the whole, behind the scenes trying to, mess with me and my name with this Meg Thee Stallion situation. But at least she probably thought, well, at least with the Super Bowl, because if Lil Wayne was going to do the Super Bowl, he was going to bring Nicki on the stage. He's going to bring Drake on the stage. Those are his artists. And even though the Super Bowl, when you do it, is for free, everybody knows you better have an album or something that's coming out, because once you're done performing, you want that revenue. Because since you have to perform for free, you know what I'm saying? Since you have to perform for free, that's not a hey Troy. That's not a hey Troy. That's a remove Troy. Let me sit up there and remove your comments, sir, because at the end of the day, if you don't really care, then why are you here, sir? Anywho, with that being said, but she probably was like, well, at least if I do the Super Bowl, I can make some income. You know what I'm saying? But when the Super Bowl didn't happen, hi, is it Regis or Regis? I'm sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly. But when the Super Bowl didn't happen, she was like, oh, so you trying to mess with my bag. Now I'm saying allegedly, you trying to mess with my bag and you keep messing with my bag. Okay, you guys, I got 2 mods in here. Let me just handle that. Handled it. Okay, so with that being said, she probably was like, oh, you keep messing with my bag. So that's when she was like, it's war. It's up and it's stuck. That's probably what it was. She probably gave him one more time to get it right with the Super Bowl. And when that didn't happen, she was just like, okay, fine. It's a done deal. It's war. However, it's worth noting that Nicki Minaj is still considered one of the best-selling female rappers of all time. Cardi B. Oh, so you're saying that Cardi B did surpass Nicki. It's possible. But again, I'm at a point now where numbers lie. I don't believe numbers like that. Y'all remember back in the day when they were saying that a certain app service was actually manipulating numbers to make it seem like there were higher streams, allegedly. Allegedly. So at this point, yeah, numbers can lie too. Numbers can lie. Yeah, I found out that people, and I still don't understand what's the benefit of this, but people can literally buy subscribers and buy views. Who knew that was possible on YouTube? And what is the point? If you're buying it, you're losing money. I don't see how that's even good for business, but people do it because I guess they want the perception that they're bigger than what they are, I suppose. But people do it. is real Barb's. Barb's know this already. She's been on this. We've been peeping Jay-Z tactics. This is not new. It's new to people who hasn't been paying attention. Yeah, I've heard that. I was seeing that, and it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I just saw when people were saying that this has been going on since 2018. 2018. So again, who wouldn't blow their top if you've been messing with someone's bag allegedly since 2018? Like, why can't people just leave people alone and let them make their money? Why does it always have to be someone being destroyed or blackballed? Like, I find that just ridiculous. She's just the highest certified female rapper. That's not highest selling records. Okay, excuse me. She just did a world tour, double back, and did a second leg, the highest selling and female rap tour of all time. Oh, okay. That's right. She did go on tour like about a year or so ago. I totally forgot about that. The only female rapper that can do a tour by herself, sell out stadiums. Okay. Look, at the end of the day, look, I one thing about it is anybody who has put in the work, and I've never heard Nicki be known for stealing people's work. Apparently she has been someone who has been literally in the studio right now. They claim what's that fool's name? Sharif, what's that fool's name? Safari. He claims he wrote it, he was writing her stuff, but she apparently said, absolutely not, you're not gonna do that to me, and was calling people verifying that she writes her own stuff. But I do remember seeing Nicki back in the day with like mixtapes and stuff. Like she did put in the work, but I've never, well, what the hell am I talking about? Didn't they say she was biting off a Little Kim when she first came out? Didn't she say that? Like, I remember that beef. Now that I think about it, like, even with some certain poses or whatever the case may be, which is why Little Kim sat up there and they had their little beef back and forth. Now, interesting enough, when she did the Remy Ma and Nicki Minaj beef situation, I remember Remy Ma saying, I think on Wendy Williams' show, I think it was Williams' show, that she said that person, I think she was implying Nicki Minaj, is not a nice person. Now, I find that interesting that she said that Nicki Minaj is not a nice person, but we have heard that Remy Ma ain't that much of a nice person either. You know what I'm saying? Remy Ma ain't that much of a nice person either. So at the end of the day, I'm wondering if the reason why Nicki was getting such a bad rap is because she just wouldn't allow people to bully her and do whatever they wanted. I don't know. Yeah, they said she never. I don't know what you're talking about. Debunk. Tell me what you're saying. That's been debunked. How can someone steal somebody work? They're write their own music. Any bar she spit, she wrote it. There's no room for even speculation. Well, remember, so didn't Safari allege that he actually wrote some of her stuff or something like that? Apparently, allegedly. So yeah, Remy is from the BX. It's self-explanatory. Shut up. You ain't lying though. You ain't lying though. The Bronx is a whole different ball game, baby. A whole different ball game. But at the same time, I just feel like it makes you wonder why certain people in the industry, they claim they can't stand, while other people feel like they don't ever get a bad rep. Why is that certain people always get a bad rep, but then certain people don't get a bad rep? And so let me explain that, because you have people in the industry who claim that Nicki Minaj is a bad person, she has a bad rep. Meanwhile, you had a lot of people praising Diddy, but behind the scenes, he was allegedly doing devilish demonic behavior and was really the person allegedly who was not the nice person behind the scenes. So sometimes I wonder if it's just a gang up situation where once, you know what I'm saying, again, Nicki don't seem like a pushover. And then if you try to push over on her, she's going to check the situation. And because she's not willing to be submissive when someone is bullying her, now she's public enemy number one, especially with her being a black female, because you know a lot of times they feel like the black females need to be submissive. So I'm just throwing that out there, because it seems like, why is that certain people always get a bad rep no matter what they do, and then other people no one talks bad about them until they have court drama. Then you hear all of these devilish things that they was doing behind the scenes. Nicki Minaj, not a nice person, but she offered to bring her in on a song, but she part of the Rock Nation to do a diss track that Papoose wrote by the way. To prove it's not true. Sorry, messed up. Oh, these last ones. I love your chat, by the way. Aw, I appreciate you, KB. Make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Up. That's one thing about me being on my phone, honey. We definitely gonna always have the trolls coming in. Always have the trolls coming in when I'm on my phone. But with that being said, you guys, yeah, I definitely wanted to touch bases on this. I said this is definitely a WTF weekly because I just have not seen this type of boldness from a big celebrity. Mind you, you guys, Nicki Minaj has over 200 million followers. 200 million. Out of probably the black women on IG, she's definitely probably in the top 5. She has a major influence. And you're coming after essentially Jay-Z, Rock Nation, and Beyonce. I respect the gangster. I ain't gonna even hold you. I respect the gangster. Because let's be clear, let's just say if she has rededicated herself to God, because again, everybody can change, is if they mean it, everyone can change, right? Let's just say if she has rededicated herself to God, when you truly rededicate yourself and you truly get into that word and you truly let God be in control, you don't have as much fear or any fear at all, because God doesn't give us the spirit of fear. Amen. So at the end of the day, maybe that's just what it is for her. She done got back into the word, and that Holy Spirit is in her, just like I feel like that Holy Spirit was in Cat Williams, and God used them as a vessel to put the warning out there, to put it out there. Because again, Cat Williams said a lot of things that could have got him canceled, but he's like, you can't cancel somebody who's independent. Maybe Nicki Minaj is like, you can't cancel me. I'm independent. Y'all tried to get rid of me a long time ago, but I'm still thriving. I'm still shining. Who have you ever seen her be not nice to unprovoked? Believe it or not, Nicki's a sweet person and a girl's girl. Again, I don't follow their careers. I just find it interesting that certain people was holding on to her not being a nice person and going on national platforms saying she wasn't a nice person. But a lot of the times, people can get a bad rep simply because they're not willing to allow the industry to treat them a certain kind of way. You see what I'm saying? So that could be the case too. You know what I'm saying? I've never met Nicki Minaj. You know, the last probably, I don't even know if I even heard that whole album, but the last time I really focused on her is when she first came out and she did Roman's Revenge. Yes, that was a long time ago. But again, I'm so old school with my music, including my rap. So, and she didn't rededicate herself to God. Her real friends know she's always speak about God and her lives on MySpace before Twitter was a thing, and she always dedicated a gospel song on each of her albums. Okay. I mean, I'm not a real fan. So I can't even say I'm a fan of any of these people. So, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, now one could say that some of the actual songs and things and the things that she's talked about and how she dressed can be interesting, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's one thing to talk about God and actually dedicate your life back to God. And I think Blessed Up with Your Name, I'm sure you feel me on that. Talking about God and dedicating your life to God is different. It's different. People can talk about God all day. And sometimes we don't know what God they talking about, but dedicating your life to Yahweh is totally different. Totally different. Dang, not Roman's Revenge. That was a long time ago. Yes. Yes. Okay. I do not follow these people like that. I'm being real. I've never bought her album, any of her albums. I don't even know how many albums she's had. I've never bought Cardi B's albums. I just don't. I've heard more about her drama and the gossip of it all more so than the music. I'm a fan of her lyrics and they speak truth to me, a real like, and you have every right to feel that way. Yeah, I'm not this is not a debate about Nicki Minaj talent and how she, as far as her talent and stuff is concerned. That's not the debate. You know what I'm saying? But again, there was controversy on her biting off of Little Kim. I remember that because that's how Little Kim came out with her beef, her song, or whatever the case may be. But with that though, I've never heard that she hasn't written her lyrics. Safari said that, but apparently they checked that really quick that she writes her stuff. Not to mention, Nicki is a great actress too. But I found out she went to the LaGuardia Performing Arts School in New York. So she's multi-talented. Because when you go to LaGuardia, or if you're in any performing arts, like I was in performing arts, they tell you need to be strong in all areas. You just can't be strong in, acting. You need to know how to sing. You need to know how to dance. You need to know how to do all of that. So I've seen Nicki when she was acting one time before. I was like, she needs to get into acting. I mean, I think that's what she went to LaGuardia in the first place for acting. Or maybe music. Either way, she probably did both. But she definitely needs to, do that and maybe invest in starting doing her own movies and her own TV shows, maybe. Maybe she needs to do that. That's what 50 Cent did. Queens get the money. 50 Cent went the music route first. Then he did the vitamin water. And then he said, F the music, F all of that. I'm going into TV and film. The most music at this point he'll do is like the theme songs. He may go on tour to do his like old hits, but his bread and butter now is mainly from TV and film. Nicki may need to sit up there and speak out to her fellow Queen's brother and see how she can transition into that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that is the case. Maybe she needs to do that. And with the Tubies and all of this stuff of the world where you can kind of create your own lane in your own career and the influence she has. My God, just if 10% of her followers actually supported her TV shows and her films, Nicki would make a killing. I can't say the K word. Y'all know what I mean. But she could really be successful in that area. She really could. No, I'm debunking all the paid press, misleading bad press, that Rock Nation, which is your. Oh, okay. Got it. I would love Nicki in a power project. Oh gosh, no. I would, you know what I would love? I would love Nicki to do her own projects. She got boss energy, boss up and do your own projects. I would love for her to do her own projects. And she got it in her to do her own projects. And you know what I'm saying? Just don't go the Tyler Perry route and actually pay your writers and make them union and make their people union so they can have generational wealth too. Nicki just want to steal that Jay-Z lives from. Child, who did Nicki bite off of again? The last time I checked, nobody. No female rapper pen game is like Nicki. I don't know, blessed up, who you're talking to as far as I don't think anybody is saying at this point that her pen game, like, that was debunked. Safari was talking mess and clearly that wasn't accurate. So I don't know what you're talking about, but at this point, it's clear, I guess, for a lot of people. Again, I don't follow her career like that, but I know when he did say that, she got on, I believe, a radio show and called people who was constantly in the studio with her to pretty much verify that her pen game is her pen game and her pen game alone. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, I will say I respect Nicki's gangster. You don't find that many people, especially with that much influence, willing to come after other bigwigs. You just don't. Which rumor has it, I don't know if this is true before I go. Rumor has it, apparently they said when Nicki Minaj ended up, it was an award show and she came from Miley Cyrus. Do y'all remember something like that where she was like, what's good Miley, what's good? You know what I'm saying? Like, apparently they're saying that when she came at Miley Cyrus, who her father is big time in the industry, but apparently when she came from Miley Cyrus that time, on stage and was like, "What's good?" Apparently, that's when the dominoes started falling for her. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that has been the conspiracy theory for a while. Allegedly, her coming for Miley Cyrus was not a good look, which is why I guess she never was getting the Grammys and all of this type of stuff. And then that's when they was trying to quote unquote replace Nicki. So that allegedly has been the rumor for a while. Now, I don't know how true that is, but I wouldn't be shocked with all the other stuff we done heard and people getting blackballed for things like that. So why not her? So I don't know how true it is, but I'm just saying. But with that being said, to even go through all of this allegedly and the ups and downs of people trying to blackball her, and for her to still be 10 toes down and say, yeah, what you gonna say? Vengeance is mine. What you gonna do? It's pretty gangsta of her. Pretty gangsta. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here to see where this is gonna go. This is gonna go, all while being blackballed, as you saying. Nicki Minaj managed to still be number one selling artist because of her fans, all while being blackballed. Then you know how they do. Well, we definitely live in a big stand culture. I wouldn't be shocked if some beehives come up in here too. Usually they come after I'm done with the live though. Like after. They usually come after. Beehive usually come after I'm done with the live. That's when they usually come. So, but yeah, so with that though, I gotta respect Nicki Minaj on that. Now we'll see where this goes, but I'm sure when she knew she was posting all of those multiple things, she knew what could possibly come her way. But it seems to me she ain't never scared. She ain't never scared. Um, who the heck is Ice Spice? Am I getting that old where I'm trying to figure out who the heck that is? You would definitely watch a video about Pimp C. You talking about what actually they claim happened to Pimp C is what you saying you want a video on? Going down that conspiracy rabbit hole, Pimp C situation. That's what you talking about. Child. Billy's music is good too, though. I see your point though. Um Billy's music. What they got to do with when she said Pimp C? I'm lost. Okay. But with that being said, you guys, I appreciate you guys for listening. It's the Gens, Nicki Minaj. Y'all let me know though, because a lot of people feel like they do like to hear me talk about the whole conspiracy theories of the industry and certain celebrities and what happened to old like music groups or old people in the industry. If y'all want me to start doing stuff like that, by all means, hit me up in the comment section. So yeah. No, honey, I'm definitely not of that age, but I am of the age that actually had real music. Like real music. See, like I literally remember when like the award shows was really, really good and you didn't know who was gonna win the award shows. Like you could watch the Grammys and watch the American Music Awards, and every performance was top notch. And you would have people like Whitney Houston, Prince, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Madonna, Stevie Wonder, all in the same category, and you didn't know who the heck was gonna win because it was just that good. Yeah, I'm that age. Y'all 90s babies and 2000 babies, a lot of y'all don't know what real music is. Y'all used to these artists now where literally all they got to do is cough on an album and they're going to get a Grammy. So with that being said, but see, the thing is, I don't want to be in a loop with some of this stuff. It ain't even worth me being in a loop. Ice Spice, I can tell you right now, I probably would not be interested in his or her music. I would say that. I probably would not. Definitely would not. How I so replace her. I don't even know who Ice Spice is. No, in the real era. And if you keep playing with me, you're going to get removed. The real era. The era that actually had real music. The era where your people, all they do was steal from the real artists. Yeah, that era. That era. Which Nicki Minaj is a part of my era, by the way. Wow, Nicki Minaj has been in a gang 17 17 years and still sent it over. Oh, okay, you retracted it. Yeah. Definitely. The music of today ain't music. It's not. So, but yeah, but with that being said, Nikki honey, keep showing us what you got. But just pray, honey, pray. That's all I'm saying. Just pray and keep God in your life. Lot is over producers with auto tune. Okay, see, Norma, they don't even understand though. They don't even understand. How is oh Lord. Y'all really going in about this Ice Spice past Nicki Minaj stuff. Like I again, like this is what I'm saying. I'm like, at the end of the day, maybe that's that person. I don't even know an Ice Spice song. I don't even know an Ice Spice song. Maybe she can replace Lotto. I would say the whole music industry right now need to be replaced. And they need to just start over. They need to start really developing artists again. They lack artist development, and that what makes to me the music industry suck today because they don't even do artist development. And it's not really the most talented people who are making it anymore, anyways. Ooh, oh Lord. Okay, well, we got people. Okay. All right. I think the Beehive starting to come in. I think the Beehive starting to come in. That's why I support 100 independent artists. Yeah, that seems to be a way. Some of the artists that I love to listen to, like a lot of people don't play their music, but I love it. But I still go back to the old school too. Greetings. Hello, hello. Artists are always what they eat. Artists are always what they eat. I didn't say I was a if you don't know Ice Spice, you are a fake Nicki for oh gosh. I think you talking to Blessed Up because I'm like, I never said I was a Nicki fan. I'm about to end this live because I feel like y'all about to go back and forth about this. And no, it ain't even worth it. With that being said, you guys, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. What do y'all think as far as this Nicki Minaj stuff? Do you feel like she has every right to express her feelings? Maybe enough is enough. Or do you feel like she's just bitter? I definitely want to know what you guys think. So far, what I see with 84 votes, 62% of you guys believe Nicki, 38% do not. You know what I'm saying? Oh, boogie down. The bridge is over. The bridge is over. Bye-bye. The bridge is over. The bridge is over. Let me see. Yeah, they really are. They're going back and forth. They're really going back and forth. But anywho, with that being said, I'm about to end this, y'all, because I don't want y'all beefing and fighting over celebrities that y'all don't know. Y'all don't know these celebrities. Come on. You don't know these people. Just love their music. You ain't got to go back and forth. Like you don't. But with that being said, you guys, I appreciate you guys so much for listening. Like, share, and subscribe. And with that being said, I will see you on my next video. Toodles.